All right, here's something I don't understand. There are likes and dislikes for this before we even started airing. You know, thank you to YouTube. We got the little feature there on YouTube, and so people got to the video early and disliked it and liked it. So there are likes and Kevin Tran, likes and dislikes already. Come on, it has not even started. So I think you guys are a little like and dislike happy. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Hi, I'm Brian, founder of TheStream.tv. I'll wait for this feature there to kick on. We're going to start the show in just a little bit. Film Nut coming up. Had a big day here. It was the 4th week in a row that Xbox Live had rented at the studio, so that was exciting. They did the Xbox Arcade Next launches here, so that was fun. Had seen Anners here today. Last week, Caters47 from YouTube. Toby Turner, OK were the weeks beforehand. Saw some Minecraft earlier, so check for that later. We'll send some tweets out about it. Tomorrow, no stream. The Geek Down guys will be here to shoot their promo after the Weekly Comment airs. Weekly Comment is Empower Me show. That's airing on Thursday night. So no stream just tomorrow night. Geek Down guys are back next Thursday at 9 o'clock Pacific time, midnight on the East Coast. Guys, I don't have a chat room, so I need to actually see you chat something so I can say hello to you. Hello, the Purpo says hello. It says, the Urban Eagle. Suicidal Boo. I want to do a sex scene with Brian. That's not very G-rated. So yeah, I see you guys in there, but there's no chat room yet. So they say we're getting a chat room eventually. So if you want to type something right now, that way I can see you. I will put this up. If you want to ask questions during the show, you can please tweet us questions by tweeting at TheStreamTV. If I miss it in the chat room, I'm also looking at the Twitter. I'll be checking at FilmNut too. The last tweet from Jeff, coming on with Jarrett, Lee Conaway, director and producer of a new series, Bite Me, on Machinima. Very excited about that. Of course, we're a Machinima partner as well, so gonna get the show started in just a second, but I want to remind you that we are streaming in HD and 360p, so if the letters and the words aren't matching up with you, then you can switch to a different quality. So if your computer can handle it, try the HD. If not, go back to the 360. So if your computer and your internet connection can't handle it, we'll go back to that. Guys, we're going to start the show in just a little bit. Stand by. All right, stand by, guys. We're going to start up in a second. Oh, hello to Quad. Oh, hello. Now I see you guys. Just want to make sure the chat was working before we start. All right, guys. We're going to start in just 1 minute. Stand by.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Film Nut. I am your host, Jeff Schubert. Glad you can join us. To catch up on past episodes, you can go to thestream.tv/filmnut, and to follow us on Twitter, you can go to @thefilmnut. And don't forget, in the third segment of the show, we do answer viewer questions, so you can start tweeting them in now, or you can do it as we go. My guest tonight, Jarrett Lee Conaway, is the director and co-producer of Machinima's hit zombie comedy series, Bite Me. Bite Me has about 20 million views now on YouTube between its first and its second season, and it also airs on FearNet and is produced by Lionsgate. A graduate with an MFA from USC Film School of Cinema Arts, Jarrett last appeared on Film Nut shortly after he was a filmmaker/contestant on the Fox reality show On the Lot. His award-winning short film, Turbo, earned him the prestigious Panavision New Filmmakers Grant. JCon, Jarrett Lee Conaway, welcome back to Film Nut.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Good. Great to have you back on.
It's great to be back.
You know, I was really excited when we did the Facebook Get Back in Touch kind of thing.
Yeah, man. It's been a while.
It's been a while. And, you know, you're a really talented filmmaker.
Thank you.
I was really excited to, you know, watch and catch up on Bite Me. Congratulations on the success.
Thanks.
You got the big Season 2 finale coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tomorrow at midnight. And I'm pretty excited about it. I think people are going to be really surprised with what happens.
And here's another thing. If you just happen to be, you know, tuning in to catch Jarrett and you haven't seen Bite Me yet, go to YouTube, and if you can catch up between now and tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
do a marathon.
Do a
Watch
marathon.
Season 1, Season 2. Send it to all your friends.
And if you just go to YouTube and put in Bite Me, I'm sure it'll take you right to, you know, whatever the page is. With 20 million views, I'm sure it's pretty high on the search. You know?
Yeah.
So I saw an interview with one of the writers, Andy Shapiro. And it's interesting because he took away a question I was going to ask you because he answered it, basically saying how it was written like a feature, because there are many webisodes. The first season, they're maybe a little bit shorter in the 5-minute or so range, 5 to 8.
Yeah.
Second season, like 11 to 15 or something.
That's correct, yeah.
So written like a feature. So did you direct it like a feature? Or?
Yeah, actually I did direct it like a feature. We shot it pretty much from start to finish, just like any other feature schedule. It was 17 days. Which is pretty crazy for a 110-page script, you know.
So Season 2 was shot in 17 days.
17 days, yeah, which was nuts. You know?
Yeah, that's fast.
But especially like for the level of kind of quality that I'm going for, because I don't want it to look like any typical web series. I want it to look like, you know, I mean, you got Lionsgate's name on it, so it's got to look like something that really can compete with other products that Lionsgate's put out there. You know.
So it's, and I'll follow up with the directing thing, but it's a comedy zombie series for someone who may not have seen it.
Yeah.
Set it up a little bit more than that.
Yeah, you know, Bite Me is about these 3 guys that basically they play zombie survival horror games, and you know they're not really happy with their place in life, and then suddenly there's a zombie apocalypse, and of course they're the only guys that can save the day.
Now, one thing I really liked about it is I was a fan of the Scream series, right?
Yeah, me too.
And I thought there's a little of that aspect going on in Bite Me, in that in Scream there's that character that uses horror movies to figure out what's going on. These guys' knowledge of zombie movies and gaming.
Yeah. I'm like Jamie Kennedy's character.
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, you know, I mean, really, that's one of the things we wanted to do with Bite Me. Is like, there's very few zombie movies where people like know what a zombie is, where they see it and they're like, oh, that's a zombie. You know, I think even Walking Dead, they never say the word zombie. And we wanted ours to be a little bit more fun, a little bit more, you know, pop cultural references in there. And so I think that's what kind of makes us unique. It's like they've seen the zombie films and they know what to do to defeat them, you know?
Now, were you a zombie fan?
Oh, yeah, yeah. You know, I mean, I wouldn't say that, like, I'm a exclusive horror fan. I love all forms of cinema. I love the big budget movies. I love the small movies. I watch just about everything. But yeah.
Well, I remember last time you came on, you talked about liking sorcery and mystic things that hide in the dark. Kind of.
Yeah. You know, I think like a lot of those guys, like J.J. Abrams, like Spielberg, like the type of things that they often said it inspired them. Same things that inspire me. Okay. Those guys inspire me too.
Well, we do have a clip. So you told us what it's about. Do you want to set up the clip, or should we just roll it? What do you got?
Oh yeah, you know, in this clip, you're gonna see Jeff take on some zombies in an alleyway.
Not this Jeff.
Not this Jeff.
The Jeff. one of the three main dudes. Let's go check this out. It's fun.
Yeah.
Zombies! I must fight you now!
Derek! Batter up! You okay?
Great. Well,
thanks.
So what am I watching The Matrix here? How long did that scene take to shoot?
I think we had maybe 2.5 hours to shoot that scene. It was the first scene we shot of the day, which is nice. It's always nice to start with a fight scene, because often what ends up happening is your action scenes, they get pushed to later in the day, and then you're trying to play catch up because you shot. You know what I mean? I tend to do that, where it's like I want to make sure I shoot the first couple scenes, they like get everything I possibly wanted, and then towards the end of the day, you know, I catch up if I have to. But
that's challenging, because 2.5 hours is a big chunk of a day. When I'm guessing you have to get in a lot of pages in a day. And that only represents
a small portion. Yeah, but you know, it was important for us to shoot the action the best we could. So that was fun. You know, 2 cameras for most of the shoot. One day we had 3. But almost most days was 2 cameras.
And what kind of cameras were you using?
We were shooting on the Red MX. We had a Red Epic as well on the second to last day of shooting.
Now I'm going to test your memory here. Is the Red everything you had hoped and dreamed back when you were on Film Nut in 2007 and you were drooling over the prospect of the Red camera coming out?
Yeah, it is. The Red MX is a step up from the Red 1. I like it. The Epic's interesting. Intercutting footage you shot on the Epic with the MX can be a little tricky sometimes in color timing, because the MX kind of puts out more of a green hint to it and a tint, and then the Epic's a little bit like more washed out when you're doing color timing and stuff. So sometimes it's a little tricky, but overall, you know, I like both cameras.
Yeah, we leave that for the color corrector, right?
Exactly. But I'm in there with the color corrector. I'm working on everything.
Well, it's interesting bringing up color. One of the things I noticed in this series throughout different episodes is there is a lot of use of color.
Yeah.
Both on the sets, there's greens, there's blues, there's reds, there's yellows, and I noticed lighting-wise, there seem to be different hues for different scenes.
Sure.
So what goes into those choices?
Yeah, well, you know, I was working with an incredible cinematographer, Bruce Francis Cole, did season 2, Jay Visit did season 1, and I also had a guy named Han West who actually was in the film club at the University of Virginia with me, and then he went to NYU Film School, and I brought him out here and had him work on the project. This is my second unit director / DP. But I'm really big on just making it poppy, you know what I mean? Like I wanted it to feel like a video game in a lot of ways. Like in some ways, it's like, they're like, this is real, but it's not, you know what I mean?
Right,
like it's kind of a wink and nod to the audience. Like they might as well be a Sega Genesis character, really, you know what I mean? Like a 16-bit, you know, character. So, you know, really bright poppy colors, kind of like a Scott Pilgrim with the look. And if you look at their beanbag chairs, it was even color coordinated. I actually got frustrated that I didn't have a fully yellow beanbag for Jeff, but we got a red one and a blue one, which I took home after the shoot.
Cool. Good for you. You're entitled.
Yeah.
Now, there's some gaming involved.
Sure.
You know, and they're big-time gamers. In fact, one of the times they were most upset was when they were in prison. They couldn't get a Wi-Fi signal. I think, right?
Yeah.
But curious, were you a fan of The Guild?
Mm-hmm.
You know, another hot web series about gaming. Mm-hmm. Because I noticed you do a little bit of the when they're gaming with each other, the inter-camera thing. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, and I love The Guild, but I just felt like you guys were so creative in how you shot that, using profiles and gaming angles and fun reveals of them being right next to each other.
Yeah, you know, I've been a fan of The Guild since day one. Actually, back in the day, I actually think I was Facebook friends with Felicia, and we exchanged a couple of messages about the first episode. I was like, this is really cool. I think, like, I don't know if there was, I think I posted it on my wall, like literally the first day it came out. You know, now she's like a superstar. Amy Okuda, who played Tinkerbella and on The Guild, is actually a member of our cast. She plays Zombie Amy, or not Zombie Amy, Zombie Kelly.
Kelly, right? That's right.
Yeah.
That was the one with the note on the back, please don't harm me, I'm being used for life.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I kind of like, I kind of pitched my take on the character. It was a little different in the script, and I was like, what if she had been bitten on the way from the Anime Expo? I was just, because it really was just kind of like, you know, like cute zombie girl. And I was like, okay, well, let's think of something else we can do for the character, you know?
Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What is the collaborative process like in terms of workflow with the writers and the editor?
Well, this is an interesting case because, you know, Andy Shapiro is the executive producer and he's the writer. So, you know, he has a lot of power, but he doesn't rule with an iron fist, which is great working with him. He's really open and collaborative to my ideas. And usually what will happen is he'll, you know, give me the draft and the first draft, and then I'll read it, and then, you know, I'll have this limited period of time. Maybe we have maybe like 2 months of pre-production, but in that first 3 weeks or so, we're doing rewrites, and we probably did 3 rewrites, 3 or 4.
So you got the script because it was written as a feature.
Yeah,
right?
like 110 pages.
So you got the script, and he took your notes, and you worked on it together and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I'm not punching the keys on it. I'm writing, like, you know.
Just give them suggestions.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I go through there, and I'll give a bunch of ideas, and, I mean, sometimes there's radical changes based on the notes, and, like I said, it's really cool working. And there's also Bob Quinn is the other writer. So
now,
yeah.
Written as a feature, how is it broken down into episodes?
You know, it's kind of one of those things where, like, every 10 to 15 pages, we know there's going to be, like, some sort of cliffhanger. We try to have a cliffhanger, you know. It's tricky because it's one of those things that a lot of places now, they want 110 pages of content. They want you to have 10 web episodes and then 5 TV episodes because we were simultaneously doing a TV program.
So it airs on FearNet in different breakdowns, right?
Yeah. So basically, 2 episodes online is put together to make 1 episode, you know, on FearNet. And it was day and date on FearNet and online, actually, which is pretty cool.
Great. And what are some of your longer days or days where, like, uh-oh, I don't know if we're going to make it?
Oh, man, almost every day.
Almost every day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I mean, that's just kind of how it is with filmmaking because, you know, I storyboard a lot of shots. You know, I'm not really it's not just about coverage to me. It's like I'm thinking about what are, like, the unique ways I can tell the story. And sometimes you have to kill your babies on set when it comes to your special shots. You just have to get the scene. But you keep fighting as much as you can. And there's definitely days, it's always hard.
Would you be dead on site without your storyboards? Do they save you?
Sometimes they do. But, you know, the thing is that I did a lot of, probably 2 months of, I did like, I don't know, 1,500 storyboards with my artist for Bite Me. So it was a lot. And we did camera diagrams and shot listing as well. So it's like we were thoroughly prepared, the team, and then you go into the chaos, and sometimes it stays and sometimes it doesn't. Right. You know, you got to know how to walk on set and then change everything.
Now, you were talking about, you're right, it was kind of written to where you knew every 10 or 15 minutes you needed a cliffhanger sort of thing.
Sure.
Is there stuff that winds up on the cutting room floor when it comes right down to it? Stuff you don't have time to shoot still? Or?
Oh yeah.
What's like a great scene that you shot that didn't make it into an episode or something?
Oh, a great scene that didn't make it into. You know, I mean, there was a small scene where Greg was spying on the romantic relationship between Jeff and Shauna, and he made some interesting Star Wars references. And there he was like, "Go get her, Vader," or something like that. It was pretty funny,
yeah.
You know. And I always thought it was funny in the script, but we just didn't have time to shoot it, you know. And ultimately, it wasn't really necessary.
Right.
The ending, which I don't want to tell people, you know, changed a bit on set, and these things happen.
Things
you know
happen.
what I mean? Like, especially in this kind of format, you got to be really malleable and quick on your feet. And I think that's why they like working with me, because I'm always got ideas and I'm figuring out how to make it happen. You know?
Fixes, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you always got to solve.
When that
things.
stunt scene took a little bit too long,
Yeah.
and something's got to go later, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Now we're going to wrap up this first segment with our end of segment first question. Since it's a zombie, I'm going to tell her a zombie show. I'm going to tell her the question to that. What is your favorite zombie movie?
Okay, so I've been asked this question a few times, and really, like, I'm going to cheat because my favorite zombie movie is Thriller. And it's not really a movie, it's a music video, you know?
Okay.
But it felt like an epic, you know, like, it's basically a movie. It's very cinematic, you know, John Landis did it. So, yeah, Thriller I'm going to pick.
All right.
But if I had to pick a movie, I would say I really like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, which, you know, people may be like, oh, it's Zack Snyder's version, but that opening scene, you can't beat that opening scene in Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. It's awesome. It's George Romero's, but, you know, the remake.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So, since we like to try to be fairly original, I'm going to adapt it since you've been asked that question several times.
Yeah.
Now give me a favorite movie that's not a zombie movie.
Favorite movie that's not a zombie movie? Oh, wow. You know, Inception. I love that film. It's one of those films you watch, you're like, man, I wish I'd directed that.
There you go. That makes sense because I know you like M. Night Shyamalan. And that
Yeah,
had like a cool
his
feel to
early
it.
stuff, his
Right.
early.
Right. But that was,
Yeah.
you know, had that kind of.
I'm still a fan. I'm hoping that his new 1000 AE, I'm hoping that it's awesome.
Cool. I hope so too.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for this segment. We'll be right back with more with Jarrett Lee Conaway. We are back live with Jarrett Lee Conaway, director, producer of the hit YouTube, Machinima, FearNet, and Lionsgate series, Bite Me.
Yeah.
Very important to get them all in there.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of logos at the front of the episodes and the end.
And the bumper. So now
Yeah.
we've got this finale coming up. Is there any kind of teasers or hints you can give us in terms of what we can expect?
I mean, boss fight. That's all I have to say is boss fight. We teased that a little bit. If you watch the end of the episode, there's a kind of a next on Bite Me, and that's definitely all I have to say, boss fight.
Very cool. We'll talk more about Bite Me, but I want to ask, I know you were on a panel yesterday about the future of the web
Yeah.
and where it's going and so forth.
Yeah.
What did you talk about there, and what are your thoughts on web content?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think that what's going to happen with content in general is that you're going to have the experience that you have in the cinemas, and it's going to be like watching more movies in IMAX and things that like really only that a cinematic experience can provide. And then everything else is just going to be fused together. It's going to be just screens. It's like, what surface are you watching things on? Whether it's your iPhone or your iPad or your TV, all the programming's going to be the same. It's not going to be about ABC, the channel. It's going to be about abc.com. You know, and you'll go to ABC and it'll have, you know, whatever's streaming on at that time, and then you'll be able to watch things. It's basically there already, but I think it's, you know, and there'll be a billion channels, which is already kind of happening, you know, because YouTube's really moving to be more like TV, and I think TV is going to be more like the internet, you know. But there will be kind of this polarizing thing where there'll be like kind of the video bloggers and kind of what they're doing, and then there's still going to be like the really high like level content that the studios are doing.
So what do you mean by polarizing thing?
Well, you know, it's like, look, you have like really viral things on the internet that do well, which are fun, and they're usually like personality driven and comedic, you know, and there's a lot of personalities that are doing that type of thing. And then there's, but what the studios are looking for is they're basically doing features, you know, that are in kind of a indie budget,
Right.
but they're still trying to do like high concept stuff. So that's kind of like a new world that's kind of opening up.
And you kind of alluded to it in the first segment,
Yeah.
kind of this transmedia aspect
Sure.
of things, where you said they want a 110-page script so it can break down to X amount of webisodes.
Yeah.
Kind of like they're looking for content that lends itself to go across platform.
Exactly, and not only that, internationally. And comedy doesn't translate internationally, so that's also why sometimes they're not always looking for comedic properties, but doing like a high concept action film or sci-fi film that does well. So they could package it as a TV show suddenly in Australia or Asia. You know what I mean? Like they could do that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. That's basically it. They can do that.
Well, zombie comedy, something that has a visual component to it, because
Yeah.
when you're dealing with international and dealing with foreign language,
Yeah.
people can relate to visual,
Sure.
right? Biting,
Yeah.
fighting, you know, sex or whatever the case may
Yeah,
be, works
yeah.
better than comedy, which
Yeah.
vary territory to territory. In terms
It's
of what they
interesting.
find
I'm
funny, the
I'm
language.
curious how Bite Me does. You know, it's because I've seen Bite Me reposted with subtitles. Like fans have taken it and put subtitles on it, which is pretty cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh look, it's Bite Me in German.
That's right.
You know, like I don't think anyone's done like dubbed it yet. You
Right,
know,
right,
that would be
right,
cool to
right.
see. Yeah.
And budget-wise, I'm assuming Lionsgate came aboard the second season, right?
Came
They were
aboard the
not-
second season.
So budget-wise, what was the difference between the first and the second season?
I mean, it was pretty significant. You know, I would say, I mean, obviously season 2 was about double the length and it was probably 4 times as much money or so. I don't want to get like too much into the specifics of it, but you know what I can say is, you know, these type of projects that the studios are funding are often dealing with, you know, $1 million or more. I mean, that's not uncommon, but you know, and sometimes it's less. It depends. Yeah, season 1 was certainly like not in that range. It was a lot less.
And so in season 2 then, while you were doing more, so the more money didn't help you in terms of time and things, it was still the same kind of pressure? Or what was the difference in the workflow of a given day between season 1 and season 2?
Well, having multiple cameras helped.
Okay, so
That
in season 1
definitely-
you didn't have that.
I didn't have multiple cameras, but also I was in a smaller space. Most of it took place in their house. So having 2 camera crews, like it doubles up everything. You have to have 2 cameras. Suddenly you have to, you know, double the ACs. You know what I mean? So it just becomes trickier. And for a small space, we really weren't able to do that. But with season 2, we were shooting in a warehouse. We were able to do that. You know.
That warehouse was freaking awesome.
Yeah, Lacey Street's a great location. It's been around forever. Tons of things have shot there.
So it's a warehouse, but how many different locations do you squeeze out of this?
I mean, we shot probably like. Probably 10. I feel like there was like maybe 8 to 10 different locations there at Lacey Street, you know. And then we had like a day where we had 5 different locations that I had to like literally like jump in a van, shoot a scene, jump in a van, shoot another scene,
Right.
jump in a van. I did it all day long. It was crazy. And actually, that day I didn't go over at all. I made my day and I shot like at 5 different locations. It's crazy, like the craziest day, and it was like no problem.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Now, do you have much time either in pre-production, because it sounds like your days are busy, to work and rehearse the actors, or how do you work with the actors? in
Yeah,
this?
we had like I think 2 paid rehearsal days, which was nice. You know, like full days where the cast came in and we just picked some scenes, and I worked with individuals and I worked with them as a group and group dynamic, and yeah. So that we did not have that on season 1, so you had to work it out like on the day. Yeah, I ended up meeting with them anyway, just working on stuff. But yeah.
Paid? What is this, like a union shoot?
It was a union shoot for the actors, although I think it was under the SAG New Media, but SAG was involved.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I see some questions coming on early, so I'll go ahead and
Yeah.
get to one here, even though normally we save it for the search second. I think we have a lot coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Bud 01, did you watch a lot of zombie movies to prepare for this gig? Was that part of your preparation?
I can talk to him.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like, I watch a ton of movies. So, I mean, I have Walking Dead parties. You know what I mean? I was constantly watching Walking Dead and reading, and actually, quite frankly, reading the comic books. That probably was, like, more influential than anything. And, but the thing is, I wanted it to be, like, influenced by other things. So it's like, I think Scott Pilgrim and, like, Shaun of the Dead, those were definitely influences, you know? Yeah.
Cool. Now, I mentioned the introduction on the lot, Fox show. It's been a few years. How has been the response to you since then?
Well, I mean, you know, it's been good. It's been good. I mean, look, the industry it's tricky. You know, I mean, I thought that was going to really lead to like huge things for me. It didn't really. But I went off and I made a thesis film called Turbo. Turbo led to me getting an amazing manager at a company called Archetype. They sent me all around town. I've met at every studio, and then from Bite Me, I recently signed with William Morris Endeavor. So, you know, now I'm going on a ton of meetings from that. So, you know, it's definitely I'm definitely moving up.
Now, and William Morris Endeavor, you're in their digital division as well. Is that correct? What is that?
Yeah. I have some great guys there in digital.
So what does that mean? They submit you for?
Yeah, for things like Bite Me. You know what I mean? Like that. There's like every studio has like divisions just like this now that are trying to do what Machinima has done successfully with Bite Me. You know, doing projects that are basically in this feature length kind of range. You know, that they can put out there on DVD, put out on TV, put out online. And like I said, they have significant budgets. I don't even want to call them web series anymore, because when you start getting to a range where you have millions of dollars and whatnot, like it's hardly a web series.
No, I put that thing on full screen. I wasn't thinking I was watching a web series.
Yeah.
It is shot really well.
Yeah,
thank
you.
Very impressed by it.
Thank you.
Another thing I was impressed by was some of the animation and graphics you use in that. I think in the first episode of season 2, you do like a animation kind of recap of season 1.
Yeah.
Were you involved in the directing of that?
Oh,
or
yeah, totally.
The storyboarding of that, or
Totally. And I'll give you a little background story there. Originally we were going to shoot that. We were going to shoot that sequence, and it, came to a situation where it was like, okay, sometimes you have to make some cuts, and I didn't want to cut that part of the story. Trying to think of a unique way to do it. And I said, what if we do a motion comic, like a really, badass motion comic? And Abraham Lopez is my storyboard artist, and I wanted to feature his work more because it's so beautiful, and people don't really get to see it. And I said, man, we're going to put you to work and make you do this. And so he worked pretty hard on it. And I'm very meticulous. I scrutinize every little thing. And he had to, I think he only had to totally redo like one shot. I wasn't happy with it. And he had to like start over.
that's not bad, right?
Yeah.
But that's a really cool sequence.
It's time consuming.
That is the first episode of season 2.
First
correct?
episode of season 2. And he does the artwork and the coloring. And then I have another team that goes and does like the animation. And they're the DDW.com.
Great. And so you talked about working with the writing aspect. What about the editing aspect? So you finished shooting. How does that work for you?
Well, I had my editors on set, and they were editing as I went. And that's important, especially when actually most features are doing that these days. They have the editors around. But my lead editor, Jonathan Dillon, he's an incredibly talented director as well. So sometimes I'd have him by the monitor and say, hey, I think we got enough coverage from this. And we'd look at the boards and pretty collaborative and say, dude, he would literally say can you please get this one shot just in case I need to insert to cut away? And I'm like, okay, cool, where I could. And also he would get pretty pissed off at me because I would do rolling takes sometimes, and I just I wouldn't say cut. I would just keep the camera rolling, which when you're doing working with red files, it makes the file super, super huge, the transcoding is oh man, we had one day where I ran all the cameras in slow motion, just 3 cameras in slow motion, and I wasn't cutting. I just was like, do it again, and they was so long, the footage, it drove them crazy.
And your and your directorial reasoning for doing that was?
Well, in that particular situation, I knew that there was going to be a lot of ramping in the fights and stuff, and so it just, and with 48 frames per second, I knew I could go back to 24 frames per second and get it synced for sound if I had to. That's not the ideal way to do it, but we were in a pressure cooker situation, and he wasn't happy as an editor, but as a director, he was like, yeah, this is the best solution to get the shots you need to get in this amount of time.
Yeah, and as a director, do you find sometimes that when you cut things, just the energy comes down and then it has to get back up, and by continuing to roll, you keep the energy up?
Yeah, that happens a lot with actors. Sometimes you just want to keep them going. Every time you say cut, everything slows down. The crew, look, and I'm not going to lie, sometimes, the producers are trying to shut you down, so you just don't say cut. If you don't say cut, they can't go in there and shut you down at the end of the day, and it's I'm going to keep going. There's the little director bag of tricks.
Little passive aggressiveness there as the producer's blood pressure is going up and up, waiting for that 1 second, to jump in there.
It's a good relationship, but we do have to do to get the show done.
Fair enough. So now the end of the second segment question is, I have a feeling I know what the answer is going to relate to based on your first answer.
Yeah.
What is your favorite line from a zombie movie, and can I hear you say it in the voice of the character?
Okay, so my favorite line from Thriller is actually the Vincent Price rap at the end.
That was very cool.
I think if I can get it, it's and though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver, for no mere mortal can resist the evil of the thriller. Right? And he goes, bah! And he laughs maniacally. I don't know how good my Vincent Price voice impersonation was, but I remember listening to that on the record all the time. And actually a good story about it is that part scared me so much that I literally, I went to a haunted house when I was in middle school, and I had to run out. I just couldn't listen to Thriller. My parents chased me around the house and pretended they were zombies and started biting on my neck when I was 9 years old, while that record was playing in the house. So it's definitely damaging.
And you must have been pretty young when that came out.
Yeah. So I was
in the 80s? That
I was in the 80s. Yeah. So that was my first real zombie experience. I was totally frightened. My parents pretending that they were zombies eating their son.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And all these years later, you're now a big director for a comedy zombie series. That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank your parents.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, well, that is going to do it for this segment. We'll be right back with our third and final segment with your viewer questions. We are back live with our third and final segment with Jarrett Lee Conaway, the director, co-producer of the hit comedy zombie series Bite Me that airs on YouTube, FearNet, produced by Lionsgate and Machinima. Don't want to leave anyone out.
Yeah.
Don't want anyone to get mad at me.
Exactly, right?
So let's take a look at what the viewers are sending into us. Ace Ben 23 has being on the Fox show On the Lot opened up any doors for you? Well, you kind of answered that it did.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, look, the doors that opened were the other filmmakers, quite frankly, because there was 50 incredibly talented filmmakers, and I became close friends with them. We still keep in touch.
You still keep in touch to this day?
Yeah, all of us do, and they're all doing things. And the editor of my thesis film was one of the guys on there, and they're all doing stuff. So I think that's where kind of the doors are open, was from my peer group.
And do you still network with your graduate now? You were still in the
Yeah.
process of. Do you stay in touch with any of your USC buddies, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I mean, my Facebook's filled with USC people I went to class with and alumni. Everyone kind of knows. That's really what the benefit is of going to film school, is the guys next to you are doing things and blowing up. Yeah.
Exactly. Let's see. Ibe Jigsaw. How did you start with Bite Me? Did you create the project, or were you simply hired as the director to direct?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, basically, I got a manager, and what my manager does is he brings projects to me that might be something I'd be good for, and sends me on meetings. And so I had already met with Andy Shapiro at Machinima twice before, and then Machinima had sent Bite Me as a possible project for me to direct. I gave it a read. I put together a pitch package and went in there and pitched to Andy, and then I went back in again and pitched to the owner of Machinima and all the other executives, and that's how I got the job. And then I got season 2 because I had done season 1.
Now, when you say you pitched it, what did you pitch?
I pitched kind of my take on the project. I mean, the script was a little bit different, and it wasn't as self-referential, and I said, let's put a little bit more geek humor in there, and then Andy will go ahead and write some genius line about like Inception. Like there was this great line in season 1 about Inception. Like I didn't tell him the line. Like he kind of said, okay, yeah, cool, and he put some jokes in there. Like that's funny, So it's that back and forth and how it would work.
I think there's so much intelligent humor in this series.
Thanks.
Kudos to you guys. Whoever put some of those lines in, and of course the way you direct it,
Thank you.
cracks me up.
Yeah.
Dark Side of the Force. How would you direct Bite Me differently if it wasn't a comedy?
I think if it wasn't a comedy, it would look aesthetically very different. I'd probably shoot it more like Walking Dead. And I specifically didn't want it to be like gritty. I didn't want it to be this handheld, gritty, like looking dramatic thing. Like I wanted it really slick and poppy and fun and a little surreal. Like it's not quite real. It's like, why would these characters be wearing primary colors like all the time? That's kind of what I was going for. But it definitely would be grittier and more handheld and stuff.
Now, one thing I noticed, speaking of colors, is I think it's Jeff's yellow shirt, right? Mm-hmm. The blood seems to vary. Has he put his shirt in the laundry and not being able to get all of it out, or?
Oh man, there was definitely some arguments on set between wardrobe and script supervisor, like continuity, about how much blood should be there. It was pretty funny. They probably don't think it's funny, but I thought it's hilarious.
Hazards of low-budget shooting.
The magic of movies.
Magic of movies.
Yeah.
For a long time, because of the show, whatever, I keep my eye on stuff like that.
Yeah.
For a long time, I'm like, okay, it's the same, it's the same, it's the same,
It's the same shirt.
it's the same. Completely different.
Yeah.
I'd like to do.
Yeah. Well, there's one point where they start to change their wardrobe, where it's like the idea is that maybe they went out there and stole some shirts. You know what I mean? But definitely he has a different shirt. And I wanted to always be an icon, because in some ways I wanted to feel like he's a superhero. Like, the guys in some ways are going to feel like superheroes by the end of season 2, hopefully. And he had kind of a Space Invaders kind of rip-off logo in season 1. and then he has a zombie happy face with a
Right,
bullet
yeah.
in its head in season 2. But either way, it's kind of like a logo, you know, like a superhero logo. So I was playing with that.
And he's definitely becoming cooler as it goes on, Jeff.
Yeah.
You know, Greg's still Greg. We love Greg. Mike.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Let's see. The new film generation. Can you quantify the importance of being in LA with a medium like YouTube? The industry seems very global.
Yeah, the industry definitely is global. I mean, you really can make films anywhere now, but the benefit of being Los Angeles is just the level of talent and people that are willing to work on things. It's unprecedented here, you know? Like, there are just all sorts of people that are trained and have master's degrees and whatnot in filmmaking. So I definitely think it benefits to be here. And quite frankly, this is the place where the studios are at, where the people are at that are funding these projects. So I think I would tell people, get here if you can, but if you're able to get access to a great camera and a good cinematographer and great actors somewhere else, wonderful. Just, you know, if you're making it just with your buddies, it's going to be harder to attract like a Lionsgate to get involved, per se.
I would take a stab at this one and say it's still very important and there's still tremendous value to it. But, I mean, compared to years ago, there are states that have many tax incentives and breaks, so there's more filming and everything being done in other states than there was, let's say, 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And because of YouTube, and anyone could, if you have a talented group and you can upload, if you can make something as funny that goes as viral as Bite Me does, you know, in another state, you know, you'll have Lionsgate might come knocking on your door if you get 16 million views.
Oh, yeah,
like you do.
What I say the difference is, though, is that, you know, you're not seeing any dramatic web series getting like those numbers. You know, I mean, it's easy. It's easy for like the class clowns to get together and shoot comedic videos. You know what I mean? And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And but to get like the real, like, you know, it'd be great if Michael Fassbender of Ohio goes off and decides he wants to shoot, you know, a dramatic web series and he gets a zillion views. Right now, currently, the landscape isn't like that. And for those guys to get noticed, to have those chops, they're going to come to L.A., they're going to get those, you know, and then they're going to end up on, like, you know, hopefully, I know Hulu wants to do more dramatic productions, Netflix and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the question was geared towards doing it like a Bite Me in Ohio or something like that.
Yeah, do it.
I mean, still massive benefit to being here, but opportunities that didn't exist, safe to say, you know, 20 years ago globally, anywhere. Faquad. See, Brian doesn't say his full name just because of that. That's one of our regular viewers, and he's got a funny name, and the executive producer, founder of the Stream.tv.
I usually leave out the fa
Usually
part,
leaves
so
out
we
the fa.
just call him qua.
Qua.
It slipped through the cracks today. I'm sorry.
Slipped through the cracks. My bad. Let's see. Will the episodes of season 3 be longer or about the same? And do you need a skinny, bald actor? Now I'm Faquad, I'll say your name for the next 10 times for any major roles next season. So first part of that question, what about season 3?
You know, here's what I have to say to the fans is if you demand it, I'm sure there will be more Bite Me. So, you know, just keep watching it, get those numbers up on season 2, send it out there, share it, and Machinima is listening. And all the actors and the creators read the comments, like, obsessively. It's pretty hilarious. So we're definitely listening, and hopefully, I can't say anything else.
Fingers crossed for you. Well, so go to the website, post the comments that you want season 3, and while you're there, post the comments that you want a skinny, bald guy who hosts an internet show called Film Nut to have a small, you know, have some kind of
I think
role.
you'd be a great zombie, quite frankly.
Totally.
Shotgun to the head, awesome.
Awesome. I'm not asking for much. Kill me. Do whatever you want to me. Let's see. Magic Pictures. If you could have directed any Hollywood blockbuster from the last 2 years, which would you choose?
Any Hollywood blockbuster of the last 2 years? What would I? Wow, that's a great question. I mean, I said I think Inception would be awesome. I think I might have mentioned that earlier. But you know, I'm gonna say Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Okay.
I love that movie. Just like absolutely love that movie. I saw it at Comic-Con with the whole cast there, and I'm a big Edgar Wright fan, and I really, really want Edgar Wright to watch Bite Me, because I'm like, I think I tweeted him once, and I was even like, hey, check it out, you know, like, you influenced me, so.
When you read
I'm sorry, Attack the Block.
Okay.
Attack the Block. I would love to have directed Attack the Block.
Scott Pilgrim, he still loves you, but Attack the Block is number 1.
Yeah, and Edgar Wright executive produced that,
Right.
so, yeah.
When you look at a script, what's the first thing you look for when you pick it up to read?
Oh, wow.
To gauge your interest as a potential director.
Yeah, you know, just something that's incredibly compelling, and maybe that I have, like, really compelling characters is important, you know, and something that you haven't really seen before, you know, and that I can really, you know, I'm a little bit of a showy director, I'm not going to lie. You know, there's some guys that go in there, like Inarritu or Paul Greengrass, and I really just about, like, I want it to be truthful and real, but, you know, filmmaking is lying 24 frames per second. So I'm like, look, I'm the star of the show as well as the director. Hitchcock was the star of his shows. So I do like to do flashy stuff with my direction. So I'm looking for something where I can kind of shine and do something cool and different. I'm not necessarily trying to look to do like a handheld drama.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Blurgle would like to ask you, have you gone too far with gore and had any corporate toning down of the visuals? So we talked about the creative team, the writing and the editing. What does Lionsgate say in what you do, or any of the entities involved, Machinima?
You know, actually, my answer to that is actually the opposite. I wish that we had gone even further with gore, and you know, I think that we scaled it back in some places, but I would have done even more. I mean, FearNet, have you watched the FearNet channel? You can put just about anything you wanted there when it comes to, like, gore, you know? You know,
Any input from Suits or anything?
No.
Sponsors? Anyone?
No, not that I know of. I mean, it's a zombie show.
Okay.
Zombie shows are gory.
In all ways, they don't interfere with dialogue, this, that, or the other?
You know, like, look, they showed up on set. You know, Pete Block, who's produced a ton of movies, all the Saw movies. He's done everything. He was awesome, and he was a big supporter of the show, and he was on set, and so was Kurt Marvis, who ran Lionsgate Digital. And they just, you know, they were just really supportive. I'm sure if we do more and they stay involved, that there's going to be even more involvement, kind of, because we'd be starting with them from the get, you know?
Okay. A couple of quick questions here, and then we got to wrap it up. Ben Toit, do you play Resident Evil or any of the other games in Bite Me?
Okay, absolutely. I am a huge Resident Evil fan. I've been playing it since day one, and I literally remember when those zombie Doberman pictures like burst through the glass and he's like chase you. That was just the scariest thing I'd ever experienced probably in my life, playing video games. So yeah, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I even had Code Veronica for the Dreamcast, so definitely.
Website guy wants to know, can we get Bite Me on Blu-ray?
You know, that's cool. I hope so. I won't Bite Me on Blu-ray. You know, I don't know for sure. I think that the plan will be eventually to probably put it out on DVD and Blu-ray and things like that. I think pretty sure the Mortal Kombat web series came out that way. So I don't know for certain yet, but I hope so.
Okay. And last one, Heather Cakes. What was the size of the crew?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. You know, I know on one of the days, like, I was told there was like 90 people on set one day. Now, I don't think they were all crew members, but actually between cast and crew, we had a lot of extras and things like that. I know there was a day there was as many as 90 people that were on set. Most days, I'm guessing there's probably somewhere in the 50 range.
So written like a film, directed like a film, was it crewed like a film in terms of all your traditional department heads and everything?
Yeah, every department that you would have. You know, there would be not in some places, you know, like visual effects and special effects. There wasn't as many people as you would hope, and other, you know what I mean. There may be like 2 guys doing it instead of a team of 20. You know, but yeah, we definitely had every department.
Okay, now we're going to see if you answer this question the same way you did in 2007.
Yeah.
We're still asking it.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite set speak term?
Favorite? Oh, I'm curious what I said back in 2007, but what I do often say a lot is perfect. I'm like, perfect, and then I'll say it one more time. And then I just keep doing that over again. I'm like, oh, that's great, that's perfect. Let's do it again. Yeah.
Cool. I think you said like martinis up or something like that the last time.
Oh, I love that term. I do love that term because that means you're almost done. But I just know as a director, it's something that I do. I'm probably, most directors you probably could imitate. I bet my actors, they would love to like imitate the things that I do.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. Well, Jarrett, thanks so much. It's been great catching up and having you back on again.
Great being on the show.
Mucho continued success, season 3. Big films and beyond.
Yeah.
And of course, so it's Bite Me. You can watch it on YouTube or FearNet, right? And is there a direct link, or just Google it or go to YouTube and put it in.
Yeah,
Bite Me?
you can, just Google it and look it up, or you can just you can find it on Machinima's channel on YouTube.
And let's get you some more Twitter followers. What's your Twitter?
My Twitter is my name, Jarrett Conaway.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
That is going to do it for this edition of Film Nut. Once again, I do want to thank my guest, Jarrett Lee Conaway. If you came in late, the full interview will be available on demand within a day or so. Thank you for watching and sending in great questions, and I will see you next time on Film Nut.
Fun.
Quad. I just usually say quad. Thank you to Jarrett Lee Conaway for stopping by, and thank you to Machinima, and thank you to Lionsgate, and thank you everyone. Thank you to the viewers that sent in questions. I appreciate that. Quad. I usually edit out on the prompter the fa. So I either just let fa go through, so it's fa asks or quad asks. If you ask two questions, you get one from fa and one from quad. I screwed up. Hey, Jarrett, we need to do the shout-out, just like we did last time, so I can get you in HD. Is it okay if we're still streaming live and I can bring you back up in the studio live? Is that cool? All right. You can say no. You can say no. I'm gonna bring your mic back up, Jack. Okay, so I'm gonna turn the music down. Jarrett, thanks for coming by again. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Very cool. So, same thing. So, you're just going to do your shout out. Hi, I'm Jarrett Lee Conaway. I don't know whether you want to do both credits. Producer, director of Machinima's Bite Me. Mm-hmm. Introduce yourself however you want. And you're watching Film Nut on the stream.tv. That's what you're going to do, essentially, okay? And I'll give you the count in.
Sorry, so one more time. I start with...
Hi, I'm Jarrett Lee Conaway.
I'm Jarrett Lee Conaway.
Director of Bite Me.
Gotcha.
And you're watching Film Nut on the stream.tv. I'll count you in. Ready? In 3, 2.
Hi, I'm Jarrett Lee Conaway, director and producer of Lionsgate. I'm sorry, can I do it again?
No, we're using that.
FearNet, Lionsgate. Yeah, I'll do Machinima and FearNet. Yeah.
Hold on. We got to give some shout outs to people. Well, guys, hold on until he does this. All right, in 3, 2.
Hi, I'm Jarrett Lee Conaway, producer and director of Machinima and FearNet's Bite Me. I'm on, what am I supposed to say after that?
And you're watching Film Nut on the stream.tv.
On the stream.tv.
Yeah, once without me, though. All right.
Okay, one more time.
3.
I'm not an actor.
2.
Hi, I'm Jarrett Lee Conaway, director of Bite Me. I messed it up. I can't do this, man.
Yeah, you can. You
so
can
bad.
do it.
I'm so bad.
You can do it.
And you're watching the stream. You're watching FearNet. You're watching Film Nut.
You're watching Film Nut on the stream.tv.
Okay, one more time.
3, 2.
Hi, I'm Jarrett Lee Conaway, director of Machinima and FearNet's Bite Me, and you're watching the stream.tv. And FearNet and Film Nut.
Jeff loves this one. I think you did it in the one take the first time you were on.
Okay,
maybe it's too many things. Maybe
let's do it again.
Just
are people waiting for me to answer questions as well?
Hey, we got most of them. It's cool, man.
Okay.
There's no show on after.
Yes, you're the director. Okay.
Yeah, we're both. We're just directors here, man.
All right, let's do it.
In 3, 2.
Hi, I'm Jarrett Lee Conaway, director of Machinima and FearNet's Bite Me, and you're watching Film Nut on the stream.tv.
He even did the stream.tv. A lot of people do that little head quirk that I like so much.
I got it right. It just took me 20 times.
Yes, someone. I didn't get a question out for someone. Sorry, I missed you. Pick 667. Do you approach your work similar to a James Cameron, or are you a director who promotes a more comfortable environment? What is that? Is he a jerk or something?
I would love to be compared to James Cameron in any shape or form. That's all I have to say. I would love to be like him. But, look, there are some very meticulous, perfectionist directors out there that get a bad rap. But it's very difficult directing a project, And, look, I've never heard of a military general that's won a war being like someone's favorite person, per se. And that's basically what you're doing. You're commanding an army of troops with millions of dollars at stake. So I like to promote a comfortable environment. but I would also love to be in the ranks of James Cameron.
Where was that question during the show? That was awesome.
Yeah, it just came out like right when he was after he did a
great.
shout out, he was doing it. So I wanted to get it in. That was picks.
Yeah.
Jeff, did you know that? Is he a tyrant? Is James Cameron Jim? Any guest that comes here that's been like Michael Biehn was on, and like any guest that comes on calls him Jim. Is he known to be a tyrant? I didn't know that. You know, because when I first saw the question, it said something about the environment, because it's like 8-point font, like 10 feet away from me. I thought it was a question like, are you do all of your Bite Me products have an environmental message? Because like
That's funny. Actually, I worked with an actor that was on Avatar. Ilram Choi. He was in Turbo, and actually we were roommates for a while. And he's also the stuntman for Spider-Man. He's like the guy in the suit swinging. He's one of 3 guys that do all the fights and stuff. And he loved Jim. He thought he was awesome. Yeah, worked on Avatar for 4 years.
now that I can get this in, Beatloaf, which is a longtime viewer and probably was watching back when you were on 2.0. Well, one, she dug on you. This is why he directs, not acts. So that she's digging on your shout out. But she also said you have the most amazing hairline ever. You're never going to go bald.
Thank you.
It's quite impressive. And then one tech thing that came in right at the end too. Movie Mac, like you guys, you know, all this time during the show, they were so riveted, Jarrett, that they just forgot to ask until like too late. Have you heard of the blue microphone? Have you heard of? There's a red camera, and apparently there's a blue microphone. I have not heard of this. Someone's asking me in the chat room.
I have no clue what the blue microphone is.
All right, I'll have to go look it up. Jeff, blue microphone?
If you haven't heard of it, what chance have I had?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, everyone, you know, Brian is the wizard behind the curtain.
I don't get out much. I know what I have here, and I don't really get out. I try to get guys like Jarrett in to be like, ooh, yes. What did you use? Yay.
But I'll ask my guest next week, because he might know.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we're doing the 3D guy?
3D guy who's got a post house and does a lot in producing as well, so he might know.
Look it up first. They might just be messing with you. You might have nothing to do
That's
with it.
right.
It might be, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, let's get you just in case you missed it really quick, and then we'll take some pictures with Jarrett and then get him out of here. Okay. Just in case you missed it, and take it when you're ready, Jeff. Whoa, I'm going to turn his mic down, my mic down, and go when you're ready.
Just in case you missed it, here is a clip from our last live broadcast.
That's how you nail it in one take, Jarrett. You see? Kill this. Yeah, kill this guy in one of your web shorts. Don't you just want to like put a log through his brain?
It's
Don't
amazing. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jarrett Lee Conaway, everyone. Awesome.
Yeah.
Check it out. Bite Me on Machinima, Lionsgate's on FearNet. Check it out. Thank you so much for everyone that watched. We're going to sign off. Chloe will get a clip up. She'll get the episode up tomorrow. This is the Stream.tv. Please subscribe to us while you're watching on the YouTubes. You can also go to the Film Nut series. It has its own show page. If you're on our YouTube page, you can go and click on the Film Nut series. You can also go to the Stream.tv/FilmNut. Watch it there. We have a Facebook page. I'd like you to go to the Stream.tv/Facebook and like us there, like so many others have before you. Bite Me, Brian says, suicide boo. Bite me, Brian. I can't. There's all this distance between me and the camera. I was looking at the 3.0 footage. My camera used to be a lot closer. Maybe that's the big difference. My camera used to be a lot closer. Guys, I'm going to get out there to get a picture with Jarrett so I can get him out of here. Don't forget, we're the Stream.tv on Twitter. So at the Stream TV Twitter. And please follow us and like us on the Facebooks. The Stream.tv/Facebook. Oh, apparently Movie Mat at $70 to $100. We'll have to go look it up. We'll talk about the blue microphone next week. Thank you, guys.